All right, Marissa, how you doing? Welcome to the studio.
Good. Thank you so much. How are you?
I'm doing great. I feel like you're my first podcast guest in 2026,
I feel honored.
and it takes I don't know, it takes like a while to like re-warm up a little bit after you've had a couple days off.
Yes, I had a moment yesterday where I went, "Do I know how to speak English?" Yes, I do. Okay. Like I was very concerned that I was still very much in holiday mode.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm back.
that's good. I go into like hobbit mode or hermit mode,
Yes.
sorry, like where I don't talk to people apart from family,
Yes.
and I don't like want to leave or go
Yes.
out.
Exactly. Same.
Yeah.
Very same.
So having a wonderful guest into my podcast studio is throwing me for a total loop today.
Look, I came to shake things up. We're gonna get us both out of that because I was in hermit mode as well. I had a friend who texted me the other day and was like, "Are you alive?" So
It's my holidays, damn it. Let me be. Well, it's wonderful to have you in LA. I know you're not in LA very often. You split time between Atlanta and LA, and it's great to have you first week of January. And we're gonna get into your acting and audiobook stuff. But where are you from originally?
I'm from Orange County originally. Yeah.
Wow, California, and you
Yes.
left.
And I
No,
left.
it's hard to leave, right?
It's very hard to leave, and it's also, like, a shocker to be like, "No, I'm very, very from Orange County." Like, born in Orange County, born in the hospital that faces the beach, like, I'm fully an Orange County girl,
Yeah.
and I did end up spending time between Orange County and the Midwest, and I was in Indiana I went to high school there, and it was great because I have a very, like, clear, full USA experience, like, West Coast and then very down to earth Midwestern roots.
Mhm.
But I started in Orange County and we did it felt very like, especially at that time, you either like modeled in the mall and had a little fashion show in the middle of the mall, in like one of the many malls in Orange County.
That was like a thing to do.
Oh yeah, it was very much so a thing to do. Shout out to Simply Charming Modeling. My dad was like, "What are we doing?" And then we did like very basic like kitty print and like kid commercials. And my parents were like, we need you to, like, please go to college. Please go have some normal experiences.
It is a huge burden on parents, isn't it? Yeah.
It really is, and I did a lot of acting coaching with kids for a few years, and that was the biggest thing I saw was how much these parents, like, between the driving, the taping, the reading, being both, like, every part cheerleader, coach, videographer for
Yeah.
people, it was astounding just how much that part was, so I totally understood when my parents were like, "Let's let's not do this."
Pump the brakes. It's crazy, like, it's remarkable to think, like, a parent can work 40, 50 hours a week and then also run around with their head cut off for another 40 hours a week
Yeah.
just doing children activities. Like, my cousin, he's got, like, 2 future NHL players as children,
Mhm.
and they play hockey. I'm from Canada, so,
Mhm.
like, and they play hockey, but he like, some of them have, like, they have practices every day,
Yes.
tournaments every weekend. Like, he doesn't have it he works all the time, and then in his whole life is his kids' sports.
And the financial investment, which, like, we don't even have to, like, it's huge, like, it's insane, like, my friend was club volleyball, so yeah,
Okay.
and the ride, but yes.
So what was it like kinda going from Orange County, which is, a beautiful part of the world to be born in,
Yeah.
hospital facing the beach, I love that, to, like, Indiana, to the Midwest? Because normally people come from the Midwest to LA, you went the other way.
Yes, and it's funny because that's what my parents did. They left the Midwest, and were like, "We're chasing our dreams, like, this is where we wanna be," and then my mom was like, "I think I would like you to go to high school in and, like, do some of your education in the Midwest." Fine, wonderful, and it was great. I had some of the best teachers and I always am so grateful for the education that I received.
Was that just because LA is, like, is it too rough? Is the city too big? Because the Midwest is, like, it's a nice upbringing.
Right, absolutely. I
Yeah.
think because my parents are both from small town Indiana, like, very small town,
French Lick, Indiana?
like, very close. Yes.
Larry Bird fence? Yeah.
Yes, my dad was a college basketball player who grew up with Larry Bird and playing with him, at the same time.
Oh.
So, they both sort of wanted a little more of that experience for me to grow up with,
Mhm.
um, but it was great. But then at the same time, they were like, "Where do you wanna go to college?" And I was like, "California." So
I miss the sun.
I miss the sun, I miss just everything about California, and then someone was like, "Would you like to go to a UC in the OC?" And I was like, "This is not a hard sell." Like,
Is there a UC in the OC?
Yes, and I went to UC Irvine, and it is the only one in Orange County.
All right.
And I was like, yes. And the theater program was great. So it was like the easiest sell. And I had, when I was in the Midwest and I was going between Indiana and Chicago and like really doing theater, trying to figure out, do I want to go to New York? Like, where do I want to go to school? What does the next step of like my career look like? And also I was like, I've always been that person. I was like, career, education, what's next? I ended up sort of shifting back to LA because I knew it was going to be film and TV. I love theater. I've never been a musical theater person. I can carry a tune, but like would have been chorus girl for the rest of my life if I had pursued that. And I loved TV. I
Yeah.
loved it, and I knew that LA was where I wanted to end up.
That's wild. So you're going back and forth between Indiana and Chicago. So is Chicago like a hub for Midwest entertainment?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, in terms of especially, like, theater-wise, and there and, like, now I, like at the time, there's a whole, the Chicago suite of shows, right, that happens, but a lot of, kids who I grew up with were doing theater in Chicago, and they were driving back and forth from Northwest Indiana to sort of get that, like, big city experience in their sort of theatrical education and what they wanted to do next, because Broadway was a little far, so yeah.
Because Chicago has what, the Second City or something like that, where they have the improv where like Tina Fey famously came out and all these SNL heroes
Yeah.
of all of ours. Yeah.
Yeah. And which is funny because then I get to LA after I graduate from school and go straight to Second City, Hollywood.
Okay.
So it just like everything like sort of has been cyclical in my life where it all touches. So
Yeah.
can't. It's always right.
Well, where does Atlanta fit in?
Atlanta, you know, I had the loveliest sort of like there was a little bit of an exodus of some friends who I was like, where are you going? What are you doing?
Not Texas?
Not Texas, they've made this pilgrimage, right? And I was like, where are you going? And then a boss of mine moved, and I thought she was being the Pied Piper, a land of milk and honey, sort of. I was like, this stuff sounds too good to be true.
Right.
And LA, I'd been like pounding the pavement, banging on every door, trying to find a breakthrough. Had been blessed, like incredible training.
Right.
I love the city. I love LA. Don't be talking bad about this. Um, but Atlanta just felt really promising, and it felt like it was a little bit more equitable in terms of, like, you could get in the door in the entertainment business. So I was like, "I'll do it."
It's wild.
I move, and I think I did it in I went for 4 days, looked at every place, tried to figure out what I wanted to be, and just moved.
Wow. Not bad. And is there like real casting in Atlanta?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My biggest work experiences and opportunities have been because Atlanta casting embraced me. And not to say that LA didn't, but I would say that LA made me, but Atlanta embraced me. Which has been I like look back at my like first like year in Atlanta and just the stuff got thrown my way that I was like, "Ah, nobody would have even like seen me in LA for this."
Right.
So it's pretty cool.
That's wild that you were able to kind of like figure out that Atlanta was going to be a place where they would actually start casting people because like 10 years ago or 20 years ago, it wasn't like it might have been a place for production.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was sort of, it had its own sort of explosion and boom. And obviously things taper off as we look at things as they move internationally and the industry shifts and changes and like the golden age of streaming. Right. But like it was wild how much opportunity was just there. And, sort of like, can you act? You want to do this for real? Yeah. Yes. Great.
Yeah.
And the Oppo community cracked me up because they are so talented. They're so talented. And I think the biggest mistake of people who came to Atlanta and like thought like, oh, I'm going up, I got this. I'm a big fish. Wrong. Like these incredible actors have been in Atlanta and have taught me so much and have helped me grow as an artist.
Really?
Yeah, just incredible actors.
The Atlanta scene is so confusing for me because like, again, 20 years ago before Tyler Perry and before Marvel,
Yeah.
there was nothing going. It was a sports town.
Yeah. And the only thing in my mind about Atlanta, like in my like college, I was like Ted Turner. That's like all I had. CNN. Yeah, see that. Yeah, that's all I had.
Yeah.
But then once I got there, and just like the diversity of programming, the opportunities that were coming, prestige television, I was like, good grief! Like this is what everyone told me. This is opportunity, and I was glad to have made the move.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so let's go back a little. So you're growing up in the Midwest,
Yeah.
and you're mentioning theater, and you were going back and forth between Indiana and Chicago for theater. So was this like high school theater and you were trying to do other stuff? Like, how did you get into this space apart from just growing up on the beach or being born in a hospital next to the beach?
Next to you.
Yeah.
I did theater, I mean, from kindergarten, like even in Orange County. Like I went to a very artsy school in Orange County and we were learning a different language every year and like we were doing theater and I was speaking German. Like it's always been like been an exploratory sort of like thing in my brain. So, but also very nerd, very education focused. So while we were in Indiana, I was doing theater here, there, and everywhere. Where there was a class, I was taking it. Where there was like a show, we were going to see it. My parents have always been very sort of like, okay.
But they weren't in the arts.
No,
No.
my mom's a lawyer, my dad's an engineer.
If they were in the arts, they would have said hell no because they know how hard it is.
Yes. And to be honest, some people ask me, I'm like, do you like her?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Is there anything else you can do?
Do you want to do this for the next 40 years? Get rejected? You're right.
So yeah, get a heck of a lot of rejection. Learn to have the thickest skin.
Yeah.
Also, it's sometimes it's feast or famine. So like it's very interesting as to how it always shakes out. But it was a lot of like community theaters, children's theater, and sort of like doing that, going to like workshops in Chicago. Then I was at theater summer camp. Like if you were a theater program, I was in it. Like it was pretty focused.
And what do you do at a theater summer camp?
Oh gosh. We started really early writing. So we had a fantastic staff who would direct us for like help us generate like our own mini writers room. And so by the end of the summer, when you had been there, you had written your own basically show. And so your parents came and got to see this whole exhibition at the end. And it was always something wild because I feel like the range of ages was all the way up to 14 and some of us were like 8 and 10, So it's just like it was like you hit that teenage year from those like preteens and kids. It was just a lot of creativity and a lot of people who to this day I have friends who I went to camp with who are now still working in industry, which is
that's
such
cool.
it's like such a cool thing. So it's this incubator of writing and I laugh because when I went to the Second City Conservatory, it's the little theater camp person in me that was pitching ideas then. That was the same thing, pitching ideas at Second City. So that was very cool because it was never just like, you're a kid and we're going to do like kiddie theater. It was, if you could write something, what would you write? And like, how do you create like a cohesive storyline? And how do we cast everyone? And it was sort of teaching us some moving parts and pieces of theater, while then also being like, now go raft.
Right.
Get outside. Get outside. Like it's still camp. You want to ride a horse this week? So it was sort of like the groundwork for being balanced and what I've always appreciated as an artist, which is being a fully rounded human being. So it wasn't quite like the theater camps that you see in movies and TV where like it's just theater all day and like actor. It's very like, okay, we've done improv, we've written, we've done this time, and like now go be a kid.
Yeah.
And I appreciated that.
That's wild. That's so cool. I didn't grow up. I grew up like probably like your father, just like head down in sports for like 22 years, and then I look up and I'm like, okay, what now? I'm not going to be the next Larry Bird. So it's like I had to figure something out. Yeah.
Yeah. But I still feel that I had a similar moment like several years ago where I was like, you have done, you know, all the like gold star student stuff on the education side. You've done the acting stuff. Who are you? What do you want to do? It's like we move into the next part. So I feel like we all reach some sort of moment where we're like, is this what I've dedicated my life to? Wait, let me back up.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then how do you find the next level, or how do you create a next level for yourself that doesn't already exist?
Yes. Or how do you pivot? That stuff is I always like that sort of interrogatory, investigative stuff internally.
hmm Well, like I came to the U.S. about 2.5 years ago. And it was part of my pivot because I'd never lived in North America since I was 22. And I thought, okay, I've been traveling the world for like 25 years, filming all around. And it's like, okay, I'm just going to bring all this like international experience to a podcast and just chat with people and see where it takes me. And that was kind of like my idea of creating something or just out of thin air.
Great. Which to me is brilliant because I also love that because like I feel like as we travel, at least for me, the best part is the people that I'm exposed to and the conversations I get to have. So this makes so much sense to me as the next pivot for you. So yes,
It's not bad. Less jet lag.
a little the time zones, you're stationary, love it. Less packed bags.
And it's nice to have other people do the travel. Yes. So okay, so you're going back and forth between Indiana and Chicago. Your parents are naively cheering you on, not knowing the meat grinder that the entertainment
Yeah.
industry really is.
And it wasn't a phase, that this would be lifelong. Yeah. Right. Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And then okay, so then UC Irvine, you come back to Orange County, and is it like a 4-year arts program?
So I didn't want to go to a conservatory. I'm such a nerd. I wanted the fully rounded education.
You want to be a doctor as well as an actor? You get med school.
To be a lawyer for the longest time because my mother is a lawyer. So I thought that, or something in politics. And it was like, our program is wonderful. I had some fantastic professors. I was there. I was doing theater. I was learning Shakespeare. Loved it, loved it, loved it. And then I was very focused on the academic. And I interned in the Senate while I was at UC Irvine. They have a fantastic program that's like UC DC. So it's every school in the UC system. And there's a University of California building in DC, and we all live there. And they have a very
There's a University of California building in Washington, D.C. that houses students that want to learn about politics.
yes, or any internship this
That's
city.
amazing.
So it's fantastic. Like, it's one of those opportunities you can't pass up. So I was like, I'm doing this.
You can learn how to stock trade with the best.
Yes. But it was perfect. And so I'm a gold star. Give me the sticker. So I interned at the Smithsonian and the National Museum of American History. And
Love the Smithsonian. Isn't that cool? How long were you there for?
I was there for, I think, several months because it was great. And I got to design floor programs. And it was like, this is the greatest experience. I was like, I'm a college student. Like, this is fantastic. And I couldn't have asked for anything better. The Boy Scout Jamboree was happening at the same time. So whenever I would go into work, the Boy Scouts would be in there like folding the flag, or there'd be troops from like all over the world. Just like, and so like you kind of get to act as a docent a little bit for like my particular program. So I got to walk kids around. It was just an amazing experience. Also, like on your lunch break, they're like, "So why don't you go to the Natural History Museum? Why don't you go to the Portrait Gallery?"
They're all right next to each other.
Like, this is like a job.
I remember the first time I went to DC. So the first time I go to any city anywhere, I take one of those stupid fucking hop on, hop off buses because I want to get a layout for the city because I want to know like where I want to go back to. So I take 2 hours of my day. I get it early morning, get on the hop on, hop off bus. And I'm like, oh my God. And in Washington, DC is crazy because there's one road
Yeah.
and it's got like 12 of the greatest museums in the world.
Just right there.
Just bang, bang, bang. And yeah.
And it's so funny because I'll watch people and they'll be like, "We're gonna hit them all," and I'm like, "Not in one day. Oh, good luck."
Yeah.
Because I spent an entire summer doing all these museums, but it's fantastic. And I had worked at a living history museum. Again, still a nerd. I in Indiana, there's a place called Conner Prairie, and I mean, if you like Williamsburg, Colonial Williamsburg is like the big one that everybody recognizes. Conner Prairie deserves more recognition. Great programs. If you're ever in the state of Indiana, hit up that Living History Museum. Fantastic.
Okay.
But I had worked there in high school, and so the Smithsonian was like, "Oh, this internship is yours for taking. This nerd wants to be in the museum." But it was such a great space to also marry, because my degree is in political science and theater, so it is very political in that museum space. And then
That's one good way to describe it.
yeah, like just very, very and again, I worked in the American History Museum. So it has its own interest there, but then also to do floor programs was theater. So it was just like you couldn't have asked for a better internship experience. And it's funny, the UCDC program, they're like, "So what do you want to do? What would you like to be as an intern?" And they're asking like these 20-year-olds who are like, "I want to run the world," or like,
Right.
or like they don't really know, or they're like, "I just want to go to DC for a semester or two." Like, so it wasn't serendipity. It wasn't anything like that. I'm pretty focused. It wasn't like a scatterbrain, but I did not know how much of a revelatory, incredible experience it would get to be in that city, which is run by interns. Um,
It's poorly paid interns.
yes.
Yeah.
So, but it was wonderful. I could not have asked for a better experience. And the hop on hop out tour is also my immediate thing whenever I get somewhere. I'm like, we're doing that. But like, and I'm like, no, it's the best way.
It is, because I don't even get off the bus. I just like make little notes about, oh, I want to go back there. Oh, I
Exactly.
want to go back there. Because if you're going to be in a town for a week,
Yes.
you don't, if you're in and out of taxis all the time, you're missing a
Exactly.
lot of like,
Yes.
I'm a very like visual, geographically oriented human being.
My yes, and I love it because I'm like, okay, we're gonna do that. That's on my list, and I always make detailed itineraries. But there's something to be said about like getting the lay of the land and then just hoofing it around.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Brilliant. So that's wild. So you did like a whole semester in DC.
yeah, it was great. I could not have asked for a better experience. Like I truly could not. And I did doing two internships at the same time. I don't recommend that. And like, if there's a person who is listening and thinking about it, it was lovely. But like I would some days I was like, I'm not sure I'm at the right place. I'd be like, am I in the right office? Yeah. But it was great.
But that's how you get 2 gold stars instead of 1 gold star. You got to do 2 internships at the same time.
All I ever wanted. It's 2 gold stars.
So why politics? I studied politics too. I studied political philosophy and international politics, but like why?
I love studying people's brains. And collective groupthink is so interesting to me. And like what motivates a crowd interests me a lot.
It's more interesting now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Since COVID, since like now you can see the herd.
And it's like fascinating because like you think you see it in pop culture, right? Like this is what's popular, so this is where the like hive mind's going. No. It's fascinating. And it's fascinating like what moves people versus what doesn't. And what I focus on was elections and voting behavior, but also yeah. So this has been a really interesting period.
It's been a wild 5 years for you.
And I just remember being like, oh, hmm, hmm. Every paper I've ever written, which you just throw out. But elections voter and also presidential speech writing. So again, still very, very interesting. Very, but I was fascinated by that. There was like a period of time where I was like, I want to write speeches for like people who are running for office so that they really hit for people and so that the everyday person on the street understands politics isn't everything. Like you can put your head in the sand and pretend that it's not, but it is everything single thing you do. So like
Reminded of it every day, pal.
so I just wanted to be able to convey that to people who weren't seeing it, and I thought this is great. I entered in the Senate and was like, I think you want to play this person on TV. I don't think you want to do this for real life because these people are screaming in the phone. I don't think so. And I thought that was rough then. And then now, as I look at like every landscape around, I'm like, I'm okay. I think I made the right choice.
I've had an interesting, because like I studied international politics, and then the first thing I did was I moved to China, and I was like, oh, this is different. And then and then I was in the Middle East for a few years, and then I was in Europe for a few years, and now I'm here, and I've had this, and of course the short trips in between for filming and stuff. But like the actual living, if you live in a place for a year or two and you have to get a residence permit, you have to become a legal immigrant, like I've done everywhere, and then you really get to like figure out how the politics of that place works and how you get taxed and how you make money and the restrictions on you and things like that, and what they tell you, what they don't tell you. And every country's playing their own little game.
Absolutely. And like I'm also someone who like my dream goal would be a polyglot. Like I speak conversational French and Spanish, and then when I hit the ground anywhere, we're gonna figure out at least like a handful of phrases. Because I just feel like if you're there, you need to figure it out. Like I find it very weird people are resistant to that. I'm like, okay. And I like once you really get in with like the prevailing culture and like get to talk to like everyone on the street, I'm always like, this is so interesting. Like this is what you thought or what you romanticized of like, the grass is greener or I can't wait to be an expat here. No, the problems are pretty much the same wherever you're going. Like
Your problems will follow you.
yes, absolutely. And the beef you had with like this over there is probably going to be mirrored somewhat over there too.
Yeah. Your problems are still going to be here in California when you get back from Italy.
Yes, absolutely. They really are. And, I can eat a baguette and feel very like I'm in an episode of television. But my problems are still like right back there in my brain. So, yeah.
Free baggage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you graduate UC Irvine with a politics degree, and then you're like, okay, I want to get into this entertainment world.
Yeah.
And what does that look like for a fresh graduate from Orange County to think like, okay, now Hollywood is what, waiting for me, or it's time to get into the grind and just start going to auditions? Like,
Yeah.
do you try to find an agent? Do you have friends in the industry? Like, how does that work in the brain of like a 22-year-old who's like fresh graduate and it's like, I did something and now I'm going to go into the world and I'm going to continue doing something?
Yeah. I'm exceptionally good at being a student. Like, very good at being a student, if that's not, like, the through line here. Hollywood and the industry is not point A to point B. It's not that you get this class or you get it right or you get the test or people are gonna be like, "Good for you. We love you. You're hired." S That was, like, the biggest, like,
Wake up
got
call.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
got it.
You ever heard of Billy Bob Thornton's story? Like he
No.
came here as a musician and then got cast for something, and that next thing you know, he's been like a Academy Award winning actor for 30 years.
See, like, excuse me? Like, oh.
Yeah.
Which is lovely 'cause I've pretty much seen everything built up. But there's, like, it's such a thing because you finish these, like, programs and, like, they kinda, like, spit you out and, like, you've been well educated, you stretch yourself as an artist, and, like, by the way, this is a business. It's a business, and someone's gonna tell you that they have 10 of you on. Sure, they don't wanna sign you. So, like, that was very fascinating, but it was, um I like research, so I kept approaching things as like, "What can I learn? How can I figure this out from, like, a different angle?" So, it was a lot of, like someone was like, "Well, if you go learn improv, someone might sign you for commercials. Go learn some improv." But then, like, again, I like being a student, so I couldn't take, like, one improv class.
No, you had to do a whole year.
Whole year. And had to, like, graduate from conservatory. It was like, how much money can you invest in it?
Right?
So, it's just, like, not ever gonna be, like, a half step for me. Just gonna jump in.
Was it satisfying, and did it give you any comfort to like accumulate all these accreditations?
Sure, yes. Yes, it was like an informal secondary program that was like, "This is your master's, and now the acting of
Right.
acting business of acting." And great, lovely, fine. But it was very interesting to see things just sort of be inverted from what you thought was gonna happen. Like, no one was gonna spend 20 minutes in the room really investigating, like, what was, like, motivating your choices for, like, waiter number 4. You know what I mean? Like, no. Like, people were like, "Can you, do this with some proficiency and not be a fool on set?" And so there was a lot of, like, learning curve for that stuff. Um,
It really is just being a good person in the job. Like, if you can act, just, I have to spend 6 months a year with you.
yes.
Like, are you going to be fun to hang out with? And are you going to be a
Yeah.
good teammate?
Yeah, are you gonna be problematic? Something like there's, like, a little bit of that going on, and then also, like, for some of the, like, entry point stuff, like, can you service this role? Like, it I don't know if you're going full, like, Meryl Streep again for waiter number 3, good for you, but, like, they may use the back of your head.
Mhm.
So, like, they don't need all that, and that was just so funny when, like, so much of, like, the theater stuff that I had been prepared for was, like, getting fully, like, lived in and embodied, which is not to say that that's not necessary. That's sort of, like, the foundation of how you keep moving through all this. But, yeah, there was a little bit of a, like, um, how do you negotiate business with art, with business, which was, like, great. And also, like, learning, because my first manager rep me just comedy only. Like,
Okay.
I had gotten a commercial agent, I was doing well, and I was at Second City and, some, like, sketch teams around UCB, all that stuff, and we had gotten direct offers, and some of our jobs had been, like, little co-stars and stuff like that from people seeing our shows, and, like, my first job was because I had, like, been pounding the pavement, knocking on the door, and telling this one casting office, I was like, "I just wanna be on a Shonda Rhimes show." Finally made it. But, like, you figure out how to navigate having a team and having a manager and being like, "Hi, I would love to be this." And your manager's like, "They're not gonna see you for that."
Yeah.
Which is, like, not humbling, but, like, again, it's all a very sort of, like, a rocky education.
Mhm.
And to me, what has been the most important thing is, like, it's a marathon. Like,
Mhm.
this is not, like
You got to be in it for the long haul.
have to be, and it's not something where again, it's like it's not point A to point B to point C, like, so much stuff that has been like, "This is gonna lead to this." No, it doesn't, like, it just doesn't, and it's a lot of, like, planting a seed and hoping that somewhere, maybe in 10 years,
Yeah.
it sprouts into something fantastic, yeah.
It's also wild too, like how you'll perform in something that you thought was below you or beneath you,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, I have way more range than that, and I did what the director said and it was fine. And but someone could see that like
Yes.
10 years later, be like, oh, that's the character I just wrote like last night, and then they'll be like, yeah, get her, bring her in.
Yeah. And it's funny, it's funny the stuff that I'm like, yeah, that was fine. And somebody's like, oh my God. I'm like, okay.
We'll do that again.
It's totally fine. And it's also funny, like, there's a huge part where, like, I'm a fan. Like, I was always a comic book person, and I've always loved TV and film, like, watching it and enjoying it.
Did you grow up on Saturday Night Live?
I did.
Yeah, me too.
And it's like, oh, this is amazing. And I loved, like, that feeling of, like, people sitting around their TVs and, like, like, going to work the next day and people talking about, like, a sketch they saw, and like, sort of commented on culture, and, like, it was all a part for all of us.
How great was it before the internet?
Yeah.
Because like Saturday Night Live would come out, and then on Sunday and Monday, that's all anyone would talk about because you had to see it, and you couldn't just like pull up YouTube clips or social media clips later. Like you had to watch it or you missed it all.
Yeah, and then you were lost, adrift, because, like, everyone was in on the joke.
Yeah.
And
What was your era?
you know what? I think, to be honest, when I was really tapped in, because my parents were SNL fans. Like, my dad to this day is, like, a devoted SNL fan.
40 years in, right? 40 or 50 years? 40 years. Yeah.
But Tina Fey, Amy Poehler is my era, right? But, like, the comedians who I love in there are, like, Belushi, and all of them are, like, obviously, but that's just, like, I feel like that's sort of trite to say, but, like, that's
I think I was 11 or 12
okay.
and I was ripe for this kind of comedy. And it was Sandler, Farley, Spade.
Yes, which, I mean, like, love. Yeah, but I feel like that's also why Second City was so wonderful, I've so many of these incredible people around me were brilliant minds and just so funny, and, like, getting to watch them sort of, um, grow and become who they are is cool too.
So as you're racking up all these accreditations and you're warming yourself up with this education into acting and improv, and you have a manager, which is great. Like, when did you land like that one job where you're like, oh, I can make a living from this, and this isn't just like a pipe dream? Or is that one coming next week?
It's funny because it was not in LA that I was like, this is a sustainable career. It did not feel like that because I was getting these great opportunities, big opportunities. Ha ha, funny, funny. You're going in the room, and I was like, "What that comedian was actually on SNL last week? Why am I here?" Like a little bit like that. So I was like, um, hmm, I don't know. It was like, this isn't right. So that's sort of when Atlanta popped up. Is like right about then when I was like, hey, uh, where are we going to go with this? Because I had booked a couple of like indie films and a little bit of TV here in LA, and I was like, I love this, and it's been reinforced that I really, really love this. I probably will never do stand-up comedy. I'm too sensitive. Like I'm really sensitive for it. I'm like, God bless those people. Like every stand-up comedian is a hero to me.
The comedy store can be rough when something doesn't land.
And it's like you not landing. It's not your character.
No.
It's not the show. It's you. Like it's you. And so I just was like, I'm too sensitive to that. So I was like, this isn't going to be it. My manager at the time was like, well, do you want to write? Want to write for late night? Want to write some like mom ones for like, late night hosts? I was like, I mean, sure. Like maybe. Like I've got some writing stuff in here. Like Second City, like we had really learned how to pitch and write and all that sort of stuff.
And your theater camp when you were a kid, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was like, this is possible. But it wasn't like feeling like it was going to be like forever or like a life or like what I dreamed of. So I was like, mm-mm, mm-mm, mm. And at that time, I still really thought I wanted to do like film exclusively. I was like, movies are where I want to be. I don't know. Like you don't know. Like you don't know.
Did you ever hear this great line? So Kiefer Sutherland was huge in my era, right? Like a great actor.
Yes.
And I remember him saying in an interview, and this was after he did 24. So he did like 500 episodes of 24. And I remember him saying, like, he's like, there was such a bravado and such an arrogance among film actors in the 90s that he would always just say, I'm a film actor and I'm never going to do TV. But then he did 24 and he did like 10 episodes of 24 episodes, 10 seasons. He did an unbelievable amount of episodes. and he made more money on that than he's ever made, like, ever. And he talks about, and he was just like, I don't know why I was staying away from TV for so long, because yeah, it was unbelievable.
Right.
Yeah.
And then also the allure and mystique of the movie star was still like where I was like, that's acting.
Mhm.
But then I was starting to realize like event television and like the intimacy of like being in someone's living. And again, this is like streaming is happening, right? But it's like not at the explosion point. So I, like it was the intimacy of like weekly, like waiting for an episode to drop and like being in someone's living room and people just like really being into characters and like really identifying with people. And I was like, wait a minute, TV is interesting to me.
It's a relationship, because that you meet them, you meet your fans every week at Thursday at 8 p.m. or whatever, and you come back every week and they're there for you, and it really is like an intimate, strange relationship. And then these people know you or think they know you, and then they come up to you on the street and like to talk chat with you like you've been part of their family for a decade. Yeah.
Yeah. And like people like really feel that way.
Yeah.
And I was like, I kind of love that connection where the art and like you don't even have to be the person who went to art school
Mhm.
who loves a television show, who like, you know, Stranger Things. Like I just like watching that sort of scenario just sort of end for people who feel like that's a whole childhood for them. I love event television like that where people are just tapped in and it becomes its own community. I love that. So it's like somewhere in there I was like, I think I like TV. Am I auditioning for TV in LA? Like what's happening? A friend started talking about Atlanta. People started, like, buzzing in my ear, and then I was like, "Okay, goodbye." And then to Atlanta, which has been a heck of a lot of television.
That's great. It's interesting. Like I've run into a lot of people who were turned off by LA
Mhm.
because when you approach people here or when you go to auditions here, everyone seems to have like an extra layer of security emotionally around them.
Yes.
And it's because everyone's just trying to be famous in any way possible. It's like, I want to be an actor. I want to be a writer. I want to be a musician. I want to, whatever. Like, the whole porn industry's here. Like, you can take your pick of like where you want to be on that totem pole. But then it's like, once you leave,
Mhm.
and you start having conversations with people about being creative or storytelling, all of a sudden the guard is down and people can actually get work done without having to just be defensive and push back all the time.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing about LA is LA will for always ever be in my heart, and I mind you, we're going through a lot. We're going through a lot, you know, like, I feel my poor city's gotten kicked to the teeth, but
Protests are coming soon for the Palisades homeowners. Did you read that?
I did not read that.
Yeah, they're the home like so obviously like the fires were a total shit show last year. I was here as well,
Yes.
and the homeowners are having difficulty with the insurance companies. They're not refunding the full amounts that the value were for the home, so now they're having to sell them at fire sale. Developers are coming in and picking them up. Then there's this whole thing about Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass. Maybe there was something that could have been done a little bit better to stop the fires. There's a lot of speculation, but there's also a lot of corruption. So everyone's trying to figure out what's going on. But the homeowners, I think, are going to sue Bass and Newsom, and they're coming out with a lawsuit, and there's going to be a protest this week.
Interesting. I mean, again, yeah, I definitely have thoughts on all of that, and I have thoughts on all of that, but in general, in terms of the industry and just what gets produced in LA and sort of like where we're at and like what is happening in the industry and all that stuff,
Mm.
I do see where, people came with, a shingle and a dream, to work in the industry. And I find that like you got to be tough, you got to be tough to make it in LA. And I think that's part of what you're sort of talking about. And that was always difficult in LA, like, where I was like, "Okay, I've got this, I gotta fix again. I'm just gonna move through this and keep going," while also having to make it and survive in a city that's expensive, and there's a lot going on, and there's tons of people. So, yes, but I did meet some of the most incredibly creative, giving, and cool people here. So it's been a good experience, and I love coming home. I love coming to work, and I loved one of the last pilots that I worked on here was so fun and just, like, so LA, and it was, like, the history of the business, and it was like, "Yeah!" Didn't go, but it was so wonderful. Um, that Atlanta was refreshing in its own way because, it has its own pace of hustle. So it's just a different sort of beat to sort of figure out how to dance to.
Mhm.
But, yeah, it's interesting where, New York and LA are just they're like, "If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere."
Yeah.
That's the vibe.
But at what cost?
True, true, but I just like, anything worth doing takes work.
Yeah.
That's always been my thing. And I will say, like, everything that I have been through, every moment where I've been like, uh,
Yeah.
has eventually left me with a lesson that I've been like, okay, I can grow from this. I can move on from this, which I'm grateful for. I have not had any of the like catastrophic calamities or anything like that that like people sort of like some people do have and like thank you, but like that has not been my experience thus far in the industry. I mean, plenty of heartbreak,
Sure.
plenty of heartbreak, plenty of like cry yourself into your soup, but like not not enough where it's ever deterred me from continuing to do this.
So what was the job that came to in Atlanta that was like, oh, this is my career and I'm going to do this till I'm 60 or 80 or whoever, however old is, you can do as an actor.
Us I mean, forever.
Yeah.
Um, to be honest, it wasn't one job. I had like one day I was in a work meeting and I'm like on the phone and my agents at the time are texting. They're like, don't text me. What's happening here? Kidding. I'm working my job to pay my rent. And they're like, you booked this. And I'm like, okay, that's great. Let me hang on. I put the meeting on hold because I'm on Zoom at the time, which is funny because we worked on Zoom before the pandemic at my company, which is hysterical because then when we pivoted, I was like,
Why?
we do this already.
Yeah.
So we did not have the learning curve other people had. So we were
I didn't even know Zoom existed before
it's
the
either
COVID.
that we were using we were or something. We were video conferencing like quite a bit. So like I was on the phone and like we were and like there's a lot going on. And then they start calling and they're like, you've booked another job. And I was like, excuse me. So like have to excuse myself from the call. And I pick up the phone finally, like, no, you booked 2 jobs today. And I was like, are you kidding? Is this real life? I'm going to pass out. And I'm just like staring at my floor, being like, are you sure? Is it for me? Is it for Marissa Chanel Hampton? Is this a lie? Because, like, it could have been the wrong phone call. I don't know. But it was real. And that for me was like, to book 2 jobs in a day was like, oh, wait a minute. This is very real. And for things that I was like, oh, like these are real jobs. I think so. It just became like, it just became real. It's very different when like, at least for me, when you're like taping for things and you're just like putting yourself out there and putting yourself out there, you're casting, you're on Zoom with them or whatever, you're in the room with them. It's a little like esoteric. It's a little like surreal. And then when the offers come through and this is real and they actually want you for like, because it's a job. I do think that's the funniest part. Is a lot of people are like, oh, you get to play make believe. I'm like, no, it's a job. Like I go. People have like bad days and like there's a whole ecosystem that especially if you're not someone who's on the show every day and you're just like coming to play basically. You're a new kid on the block and you got to play by their rules and what is established.
You got to fit in immediately.
Exactly.
It's like being a bench player.
Exactly. Yes. And so I think a lot of people are like, oh, it's just got to be great. You guys have like a tea party. I'm like, no, like the people who probably worked together for a hot second and like you're new here. So there is a part where like every job is a new learning experience. So it's a job. And getting that sort of like back to back, sort of like, you can do this was like, oh no, this is real. And I really would like to do this. And I would like for my phone to ring like that more often.
Right.
So I just sort of was like, oh, we could do it.
That's wild.
Yeah.
2 jobs in one day.
In one day, within the span of 15 minutes, which was very bizarre.
Your agents were just doing high fives in a row. Yeah.
They were like, you should go get a cupcake. I was like, but yes.
If at any day you deserved a cupcake. Yeah.
Like, that's very specific. Like, yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, you just don't. It's like this is. I'm a football fan. I'm a very much an American football fan. Like, and it's like winning the Super Bowl sometimes when you book a job because like there are hundreds of people who get to read for the role, let alone who get sent to producers. Like it's rarefied air every time you make it to that next step. So there's just like it's like the wins get like very weird. So then when you finally like get the job, it's like, well, this year we're division champs. Like that's like where it starts to break down.
I was watching something the other day. There was a very famous TV show in the United States called Modern Family, and I guess they finished filming a few years ago, and they put out this little documentary about their last season, and I caught it. I think it was on YouTube or something the other day, and I was like, oh, like I missed this whole show. Like I didn't watch any of it, and because I was abroad and they didn't have it, and this was before streaming, so I was watching and I was just kind of not really paying attention. But then they said like, oh, for the character of Phil, who was like the leading man, I guess, or the father, they auditioned over 150 people. And then they went down so there were 8 or 9 of these key roles, and they interviewed over 100, they auditioned over 100 people for each role. And I'm like, holy shit.
Mhm. And that's not even taking into account and, like, that and, like, of course, like, that's a whole because Modern Family was, like, its own, like, mega burst of energy there.
Yeah.
But, like, that's not accounting for, like, right now where when you like, your agent is submitting you, like, it's, like, insane within, like, the amount of time that a breakdown gets released that you're submitted from. It's just, like, crazy. Like, the competition and that's such a weird because like, it's not even competition because it's something like the role is your role, and it gets, like, down to this weird, like, alchemy, not to be weird, but it does, where, like, sometimes the job is just yours. Like, it just is. Like and I've gotten to sit at a table read and witness someone who booked the job for something I've read for, and then watch the words come out of their mouth and be like, "Never in the world was it my job.
Right.
She is the most incredible person
For that.
for this job."
That's amazing that you can see that.
To witness it really depersonalizes the whole experience. And again, there's heartbreak. There are jobs that I've wanted, and you watch them later, and you're like, oh, but then there's just times where it's like, no, it was her. It was always her.
Does that make you feel better or worse?
It makes me feel better because it's not about you. It has nothing to do with you. It's just not. It's like it's so funny because you never know.
But is that better or worse? Like, is it better that it has nothing to do with you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because this becomes really weirdly personal when you do it for so long.
I bet.
And you start feeling like they hate me. Right? They hate me, and it's not, and it's like my acting choice, and it's me. And like there are casting directors who I know outside of the business, like socially. I'm like, she doesn't hate me. Like that's stupid. Like she doesn't hate me as a person. This little bit of acting did not fit the universe of that show. And if that's like one thing I could tell like a young actor, it's like, wait, that's not you. Which is very hard to believe.
It's interesting, like, so I don't act or anything, and I don't know how to.
Want
Um, oh, I don't know. I know how to be myself, and
yes.
I've done
Yeah.
I've done like 50 more than 50 episodes of television, so BBC and Discovery and stuff like that. So I'm good at being myself.
Yeah.
I get to be myself every day here on the podcast, which is great. But being someone else, I think, is something that is very interesting. But I've never gone down that path of actually trying to, wear that coat, so to speak.
But it's not as like far off because there's a little bit of me in everything and every person that I play.
Yeah, I
So
get that.
like the authenticity is there. So I'm like, I don't know, in 2026, if the opportunity arises.
Well, people know where to find me. I'm in the studio, yeah, having conversations with real actors.
Just saying, if you'd like to join the ranks of our tortured masses, please go join us.
That was incredibly exciting invitation there. So okay. So what did you book? So have you done a Shonda Rhimes series?
It was on Scandal. It was my first job. It's like how everyone else was like, I was on Law and Order. I was like, I was on Scandal. And I loved that show. And I was a very upset victim of the week sort of situation. I believe it's
How did you die?
Jogger. I was actually abused. And yes, there's a collection of us young ladies who were abused. I think by our professor. I have to go back and watch the episode. I honestly, I don't enjoy watching myself. My voice sounds significantly, which is hard as a narrator because I can hear my voice the whole time I'm in the booth. I don't enjoy listening to myself back because in my mind, have a very deep, mellifluous voice. But when I hear it back, to me, I sound like Mickey Mouse.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
No, I don't. Like,
That's why we don't use the headphones here.
I hate it.
Yeah, I don't like listening to myself either. I can't stand it. Like,
What is that?
I don't know. I can't watch my own TV shows. I watch them on mute actually because I love the scenery.
Yeah.
Because the mountains and the deserts are beautiful. So sometimes I rewatch the shows if I'm working or something, and I'll just have them on mute because I can't handle my own voice. But other people must like it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, nobody has complained.
I get a lot of complaints though, but still.
Let's hold on. Like, I try to avoid comment sections, to be honest. But yeah, I'm not. I know some people are very keen on listening to themselves and watching themselves back. I do for like study purpose, but like we saw Captain America with like they did a cast and crew screening in Atlanta. And I was like, oh, my head is big. That was like my big takeaway. And then I had to go back and watch it again
Right.
to like actually hear myself
Right.
because I was like, my head is very large on a movie screen. Like that was my takeaway. So like I need a beat before I take back. And I have no idea what we were talking about before.
Well, hold on. So, how did you get into the book narration and the audiobook stuff? Because that's a wild thing to get into if you don't like your own voice.
And I should take that back. I do like my voice. I've like I was in theater, so like I did voice lessons. I do like my voice. It's just there's a my biggest critic is me.
Yeah, when it comes back in, it sounds
It
different.
just sounds so different. And also there's like, you make a lot of choices as an actor. You make all those choices and you think you're brilliant. You make all this stuff on set. You think
My character's gonna have a limp.
and you're like, and here I looked at her because that line hit me very differently than she intended. And then like, you see the edit and it's like, it is what it is. Like, obviously, like, it's just very out of your hands. Like, once you sort of show up on set and do your thing, it's out of your hands. And sometimes, like, it's not until ADR that I'm like, oh, okay, I love that. That looks great. Or, I could have been a little better there.
Too late to do it again?
Can I have another take?
Yeah.
No. But so that is like it's just funny because like there's a whole like you pull your control away. So I think it more has to do with that. Like it's just like not as controlled as a medium. Narration though,
Yeah. You own it.
you own it, and you're in that booth. And I tell the engineer all the time, I'm like, can we take that back? Like, recently, the engineer that I was working with, I'm narrating a series right now, and he was like, do you know that you boo yourself? And I was like, what are you talking about? He was like, you audibly boo yourself when you want. Yeah, but when I feel like I don't like something. He's also like, and when you're bored, you cluck like a chicken, which is a whole other thing. But which I again don't know that I was doing that.
Are we gonna get a director's cut of one of these audiobooks? That'd be hilarious.
Shit. But he was like, the first time he did it, I thought you were booing me, and I was like, you thought I was booing you? He was like, I realized it's to yourself.
Audio engineer, boo.
Punch me in faster, boo. But it's very funny because it is your control and because you're hearing the playback in your ear as you're going. Um, or you can just like, it's in the can, so you can hear what's happening. Um, it becomes like you're self-directing the session. Every now and then I have a director, but it's usually just me and an engineer. Um, but there's so much control and I like that. Um, and I work with authors that I enjoy. So it's always like this, it feels very like I'm a control freak, I'm realizing as we're sitting here. Uh,
Audiobooks that's a lot of control though.
it is
Yeah.
because there's so much, and it's a lot of trust from authors and publishing houses that they're giving you to be like, go forth now, record this book that this author has put a ton of time in and has given birth to and put in the world. Don't mess it up.
Are you worried about like AI coming in and doing these audiobooks? Because I know so there's this company called 11 Labs.
Yes.
And they're not a sponsor or anything like that, but Matthew McConaughey bought like half of it. And he's like, right on, right on. My voice is going to be on everything now, or something like that.
Yeah. I no, I'm not. The thing is, I'm sure AI will get like incredible. It'll be fantastic. Whatever, whatever. There's this. And I'm trying to be nice. Be nice. Uh, no, I don't worry about it taking over. I think that once the shiny newness wears off for people, there's a pendulum swing. There's the reason why we have sat in front of fires as cavemen is storytellers and human connection. You cannot have a village with a machine. I'm sorry, you cannot have connection with a machine. You can, but you're going to have AI-induced psychosis, which we are already seeing.
Yeah.
And I love, don't get me wrong, I love tech. I love advancements and things. I was a science nerd first, but there's something to, and I was watching someone talk about that AI is the like equalizer and it like allows people to access art. Let's let anybody pick up, like you don't have to like learn the skill. And I'm like, partially why I'm good at what I do is because I had to fail.
Yeah.
And like you need to fail, you need to learn. And like part of the reason why, you watch a show and it affects you and it sends you into like tears and hysteria is because like someone had 5 drafts of that and it wasn't great. And there's nothing that I have felt from some incredible stuff that I've seen from AI that has driven me into anything other than the uncanny valley feeling.
Yeah.
Or I think it's funny when they bring up That's I refuse to call that thing an actor, but the synth Tilly,
Mm.
whatever. Okay, but there's just something to be said with um, the human connection. And I do think, like we have artisan cheese, right? And people like farm to table and all that stuff. And like that's what like becomes sort of our signifier of elevation and elitism. I think what you're going to see is human made become that sort of label.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, like, yeah.
And that's not that I like again classism boo, but I think that's where you're going to start to see like some sort of classist stuff happen. Like that's why I'm like, don't sign your life away to ChatGPT. Don't lose your ability to have like sort of any intellectual curiosity or shortcut through this stuff. Is because what they will start to do, at least to me, and I see it now, is like that person who can think, that person who can read actual like that is going to be the people who, in the end, will be like old money. It's that sort of stuff.
I think so. We're 2026 now.
Right.
I think we're 3 to 4 years away from a 15-year-old living in his parents' basement making a 30-minute feature film or whatever short film that is as like good in quality as anything else that's ever been made, and has done the entire thing in AI, and somehow like created all the characters himself, written all the characters himself, and rendered all the video himself.
But did he write it?
Yeah, I think
Did he write it or did he prompt it?
he wrote it. I bet you he wrote it, and I bet you like we're 3 or 4 years away from having some kid in their basement make like something that goes out on YouTube and gets watched by like 100 million people.
I think we're much shorter. We're less time from that. I think that's the end of the year. To be honest, I'd like to be like 100% honest. I think we're end of the year for that. I don't think it will be as well received as they think. I was listening to the Microsoft CEO who was like getting mad because people were calling it AI slop. I was like, you should probably have never said that publicly, because like then the next response was the wave on the internet was they called it Microsoft slop, which is like I think there's a cultural part on the response of the consumer, which is like, what do you want to watch? Like, I understand. Trust me, I'm an actor. I'm gonna make my own stuff. Like, I would love to like, and I could obviously AI is there, make a film. There's so many projects and things that like would love the funding. I want it to happen, and like just like that access is incredible theoretically. But part of why I love what I do, part of what has made at least my experience in the business and what has made stuff that is successful and has won awards and the projects I have been in that have been successful is the collaborative nature, and it's all these different parts and it's human effort. So that's like why I'm always like, yeah, I think that'll happen by the end of the year.
Yeah.
I don't doubt you. Like, I think that'll happen by the end of the year. I would be curious as to the real quality beyond just is it visually at that level? Because I think that can happen
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Like for sure.
Yeah.
I think the like um will it be entertaining? For sure. I'm not so sure about the resonance at the
Yeah.
end of the day. That's like my
Yeah.
question.
Yeah. Is it going to be like a 20 or 30-minute like music video that's very flashy and interesting, but lacks story depth and like that human connection?
Right. Because I do not doubt. I've seen it already. There were 2 commercials I saw that I was like, I mean, yeah, okay, I get it.
No.
But it like nothing in it made me go like, this is a horrible example, don't laugh. But like, the Budweiser frogs, like that was like such a cultural moment.
That was back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you like the amount of times I was like, stop telling me that. Make it stop. I don't there's nothing that I have seen that makes me go, oh, cultural touchstone. Cultural touchstone sort of situation
Yeah.
from AI.
Yeah. Well, hopefully the human-made productions keep everyone working and in business.
Who knows? There's
Mm.
also been some stuff recently that I'm like, who made that? Oh, human did. Okay. Well, I didn't like that either. So
There's a lot of that.
yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of room for some improvement on all.
I don't know what's going on, but I feel like every feature film that only gets a streaming release yeah, I just feel like they were still writing the script when they were filming it. Like you can almost tell when they haven't finished writing a script and they start filming it.
I never know because like I'm the worst judge. Like some people will be like, "Oh, that's not true. I'm not the worst judge." But most people are like, "That was bad," and I'm like, "Well, unfortunately, I watched it from beginning to end, and I loved it."
Right.
So I may be the audience that is generating the revenue for that, but no, it is funny. I miss like the mid-budget movie. I miss
Gone forever.
Yeah, but I miss the stuff that, like, you used to be like, "Wait, this is great." Like, one of my favorite movies of all time is Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I love that movie. But, like, I know people who've never heard of that movie.
Yeah.
I didn't see it in theaters. And I'm aging myself. I absolutely rented that and bought nope, I lied. I saw it on TV one Saturday, like, randomly. And that movie was, like, my favorite thing in the world. And when you find, like, 5 people who can quote that movie front to back,
Yeah.
you're in good company. Like, 110%. But, like, we don't like, I don't know of a ton of movies anymore that, like, do that. Like, everything now is either, like, big Netflix release or, like you said, it's a streaming thing that I'm like, "When did that come out? What are you talking about? I haven't seen that."
Nope.
Or, like, it's, like, the 4 at the movie theater where I'm like, "Oh, it's Avatar 4. Okay, yes, I remember this. Yes, I need to watch this." I don't remember what number we're on, so don't
3.
3, okay, thank you.
I watched it at Disney 2 weeks ago with Jim Cameron was on site. And yeah, he was there. That's the only reason I live in this town is to do podcasts with interesting people like you, and then to go to all the events. Yeah,
Which is not a bad for correct?
and not bad. But no,
Was it
it was. You know what? The first one captivated me and made me want to believe. The second one was a little too family oriented for my taste, and the third one is also really a bit too similar to the second one in my eyes. And it was long. It was 3 hours 20 minutes.
is it really? Yeah.
And I'm missing, like, it's hard to fault James Cameron. Obviously, he's a fucking genius. And the quality and the but the I just feel like there's so much going into the visuals and there's so much going into like the world creation that somehow like the story's kind of being missed a little bit. Like,
I need to watch it.
yeah, you need to watch it. It's hard to go against James Cameron on a podcast, but I will. But even better actually was a really small low budget movie that I watched with Joel Egerton called Train Dreams.
I did love Train
Wow, wasn't that beautiful? A couple guys and a camera and like $10, and they fucking made a beautiful movie.
Really beautiful.
Yeah.
Really, really, really good. I loved Train Dreams. It was up there with like some of my favorites of last year.
Yeah.
It's like, what is this? This is great.
And it was beautiful. We did it. I saw that in a small theater at CAA a couple weeks ago too, and Joel was there, and it was just spectacular. So it was,
I mean, like, that was one that it was like, I whim sort of watched it because I was like, I like this. And there, I believe, is a book somewhere.
yeah, there's the book. Yeah, it's like a novella. It's like a shorter book.
Very
Yeah,
short. Yeah. So
yeah.
I had picked it up. No, did I? No. I picked it up, put it down. Yes. And then I was like, is this that? Is this that? Is this that? Watched it. And I was like, this is good.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Have you ever thought about? I mean, like, because you had done writing when you were younger. Like, do you ever think about trying to write something for yourself or try to go in that kind of direction? Or are you so busy acting that it doesn't really fit in? Or I'm just curious, like, because a lot of actors they never want to produce or write. Like, they're happy just acting and going from project to project because
Yeah.
you get really emotionally involved and then you move on, right?
Yeah.
But if you write something or you produce something, like that's like 2 years or more of your life.
Yes.
That's a big commitment for a lot of people.
Yeah. Um, I have absolutely. Have I thought about it? Yes, 110%. Do I have stuff that's like half in the can written? 100% for sure. There also was a period of my career where I was like, I reject the notion that I have to be a multi hyphenate. I was like, I don't like this.
That's a big thing here.
Yeah, I was like, I just want to be an actor. Dang it. I don't want to have to add 6 hyphens to make it.
Writer, producer,
Yeah,
director.
I was like, this feels a little ridiculous. I was like very grouchy about it. I'm coming out of that, but I was like really, really grouchy about that.
Well, you can end up doing too much,
You can. And also, like,
and that crushes your creative spirit.
yeah. And also, there's something sometimes where I like showing up to work, doing my part of the job, and leaving. But I like now as like we hit this part of my career where the types of roles change. Um, what I'm getting to say is
How so? How so? Tell me about that.
there's like a funny part where like where when you're 18, some of the roles are very like, not all of us get access to the stuff that's like dark, really gripping. Like some of it's just like, I need rescued, which is stimulating. It's fine. Then think like there's somewhere where you hit like your upper 20s and like they're like the women are really like getting interesting. Like they have shit that's happened to them. Like they're driving storylines.
Shitty husbands, kids who hate them.
Yeah, think about everything.
Yeah.
Or there's just like stuff that like
Small subscription pill problem.
true, yes. But there's like stuff that happens that like at least for me has been um a little bit more interesting to do and play. Um like and things change is like sort of the trends of what is popular in Hollywood and what gets greenlit. Also like sort of like there are periods where I'm like, well, I've wept for 1 year.
Yeah.
1 entire year where everything I've done was weeping.
That's got to take an emotional toll.
Yeah, like you're self-taping, and I'll never forget my dad was visiting, and I'm like wailing, weeping. Because if I remember, it was like a very serious, like civil rights picture where like I'm talking like horrific. And I'm like, and he gets out when it's like, "Would you like to go to dinner now?" And I'm like, "No, like I need to lay down. Like, this is horrible. Like, you got a headache and you're like crying." And obviously, you can walk away from it. I'm not a method actor, so it's not anything like that. It's just that like you've boo-hooed with someone.
It's emotionally taxing.
Yeah, and it's also just like, what reality are we in?
Yeah. And when I cry, I get all puffy, and I don't want to go out into a restaurant and be like, I've just been crying for 4 hours.
And not for real either. Like nothing
So
actually.
your body doesn't know.
Body does not know the difference. Like it does not know the difference.
It thinks you're going through major trauma.
Yes, and that is the only thing. When I worked on Wash, at some point they were like, "You might dehydrate. Do you need some water?" And I was like, "Just keep going. It's easier if we keep going." And I worked on Women of the Movement, and we're like doing Emmett Till's funeral, and like they have a corpse, sort of like obviously it's fake, but it's just like Mamie Till's conscious choice to have an open casket is like very pivotal in sort of the direction of the civil rights movement. And the cover of I believe it's Time magazine, like it's a critical decision point, and there's an imagery choice here in this direction. But like you're doing take after take of like this funeral procession where it's an open viewing of Emmett Till's casket, and like the extras are crying. I'm like, my job is just to wail, and like then the extras are crying, or background, excuse me, is crying. I hate when people call them extras. Background, because I worked as background for a hot minute, and it was very tough.
I did that one as a kid. Yeah.
And it's tough. Well,
Long days.
long day. Dang it.
Yeah. You want a little aside?
Yes.
Vince Vaughn was my basketball coach. Yeah. He did a movie in the 90s, late 90s, and I played basketball for the University of Toronto. And he came up to shoot it in Toronto, and they had to put together a basketball team. He was a high school basketball coach. So they just took our entire university team and made it his team. So they came in and cast us. They took I think they took 10 out of the 16 guys that we were there. And and we just spent like 4 days on set with Vince Vaughn coaching us in a game and stuff like that. And that was my background moment. I was a little on the court, but mostly on the bench and just standing up, cheering, not looking at the camera. So yeah, background.
But like it is work. Dang it.
Yeah, I mean you're not at home, and you got to behave, and you got to be pay attention.
Yeah, and don't look at the camera. And there's like a part of me that feels very magpie, and I'm like, down the barrel, like, and it's like, fuck it off. Like, what are you doing? Don't do it. And
Don't break the fourth wall.
don't do it. But it was just like they're boohooing, and like also it's like I've never had such an experience where like we're crying. It's like everyone's crying and weeping and wailing, and then I'm supposed to like pass out kind of because it is like it's a lot. And so we're barely through a second take, and I just remember being like, "Oh, man, your body really does not know the difference." Like it just like I was like winded and sweaty and just sort of like emotionally distraught, and I was like, "Now I'm in Mississippi. I am because we're filming on location." But it's also not like like come back from the brink, which your body just doesn't know the difference. So it is sort of like,
But a whole year of just tears.
yeah, it was like it was unnerving at some point because I was like, is my energy weepy? Like I could not fathom what was coming from it. And don't get me wrong, I love a good like crying job.
Yeah.
Love it. But that was like one of those moments where I was like, I think I'd like to do some comedy.
Yeah, laugh it up a little.
A little
Yeah,
bit. Like,
I'm back up the curve.
yes, I'd like to go to work and we giggle versus like 15 people being like, "You need some water? Are you okay? Like, would you like a tissue?" And like, rightfully so, because you're like, irrelevant.
Do you have an opinion on this whole thing about like comedy is dead now because you can't make jokes about all the funny stuff?
No, because I think if you're funny, you're funny. And
Agreed.
and like they're also like, to my experience, I'm like my comedy taste can get a little wonky and weird, but like the funniest people to me have been smart people and who didn't have to punch down to be fucking. Excuse me.
Or you can swear as much as you want.
But they didn't have to be fucking funny,
Yeah.
Like there are like and like yeah, I don't think you have to punch down to be funny. Like some of the less gifted comedians are more observational for me, who like say stuff and it's like, no, wait, it's true. That's funny.
Yeah.
Like, so, no, I think you can absolutely be funny. I also find some people who think they are funny, um, are doing some sort of 12-year-old's humor that is more so, okay. I'm like, sure,
Yeah.
but it doesn't live on for me. Where there's some stuff that's like very smart, where I'm like, no, that was funny.
Yeah, people got to go deep in order for it to stick with you, don't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do. Or like, there's stuff like there's a book by George Carlin. It's like, when will Jesus bring the pork chop? And, like, it's hilarious, like, from start to finish, and, like, there's some stuff that, like, is offensive, but it's not offensive in the way where I'm like, "I don't know, did the marginalized identity need to be the roadkill for this? Like, what?" Like, you I don't know, there's just some stuff where I'm like, "I don't know, did you feel funny because you punched down on a group that actually systemically, like, is getting beaten up on in real life? I don't think you're that freaking funny," and I also don't notice, that some people have any sort of self-awareness when it comes to that, and there's some stuff where I'm like, grievance comedy is funny when it's, like, the stuff that we all experience, where it's like, "Yeah, man, my taxes." Like, you
Right.
know what I mean? Or, like, you ever notice that, like, when you this is not jokes. Again, I would never do stand-up.
Never?
Ever. No.
No.
I'm too sen again, I'm sensitive.
Do you like live performance though?
I do.
Yeah.
I do, and
That's quite a little
yeah.
yeah, you're stuck between two rocks there.
Yeah. Love it, but, like, again but, yeah, I don't know, there's just a part where I think we are hmm, I don't know. There's a lot of funny people out there who I respect and enjoy watching and will watch their comedy specials and have no issue with, and then there's some people where I'm like, I think you get off on being a contrarian and being cruel. I don't actually think you're funny. Like, I don't think you're funny, and not in a sustainable way, and not in a way that is actually, like, generating, like, a legacy for yourself. Not that that matters, not that some people care, but I'm like,
You want to be known for being funny for the right reason.
or just, like, actually, like, freaking funny, and not just, like, in this moment in time, I capitalized off of being incredibly cruel because I was that's what was hot at the moment,
Right.
was being a dick. Sorry, like, I don't vibe with it, and I again, like, I've had the privilege of being around some of the funniest people in the world, like, who are freaking hilarious, and it's, like, quiet where you're like,
Yeah.
"Did you just" and then you're about to pee your pants level of funny. And
That doesn't happen every day.
no, and it's I'm gonna be honest, very rarely is it the people who are like, "By the way, I stomped on, a black person to get here." Get that. I'm so serious. Like, it's a little tiresome. It's a little tiresome, and again, like, some of the grievances I hear from some people, I'm like, "Okay, well, cool." Somebody called me the N-word on the internet yesterday, and I had to keep walking. Like,
Right.
so I'm not sure what you're winning by punching down on anyway, it's a whole thing for me where I'm just like, I know so many comedians who are hysterically funny and do it without all that.
Yeah. Because it's in their bones.
Yes,
Yeah.
and some people what I love about their comedy is it's just so great. Like, it's just like, "Man, I thought that too. You thought that?
Mm.
You thought that too? Okay, great."
It's in their breathing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why are you in LA? Are you promoting something? You got something coming out soon? What's the deal?
Yes. Later this month, the show It's Not Like That comes out on Amazon,
Okay.
and we're with the Wonder Project, and it's like it's one of those shows that is very sweet, but it's also a drama and a family romance, and I liken it to when people used to come home and watch those after school shows like, um, the WB, and it was like there's a whole family.
Teenage pregnancy kind of stuff?
No, no, a little bit, but there's, like, heartfelt family issues while there's also a romance going on, and it's just, like, the kind of TV that, like, I miss a little bit of getting to see that, and, like, the kids on our show are great. Like, just I'm wowed by them. I was like I remember I sat there at a table read, and I was like, "Are you serious? Are you serious? Like, how are you this good right now?"
Yeah.
So that, like, I can't wait for people to see that,
How
and
many episodes is it?
right now a good question. Are we 8? 8
Eight
episodes.
episodes.
Yeah.
And what's it called?
It's Not Like That.
It's Not Like That on Amazon Prime.
Mhm.
Okay.
We'll start out there, and then you can also watch us on the Wonder Project,
Okay. Wow. So I mean, like, where'd you get to film that?
Atlanta.
There you go. You got to sleep in your own bed every
I
night.
was in my little bed every night. We got to, like, hang out in the city of Atlanta, which is, like, a delight, and it was just, like, one of those experiences, again, where I was like, "Wait, this is, like, amazing." But so totally surprised me because I had no idea what to expect from this show, and I left at the end of the season being like, "That was a really incredible, like, experience to get to be a part of," which is not always what you walk away from a project feeling.
But I mean, after 8 episodes, I mean, that's like months of your time and life and work. I mean, that's gotta feel great finishing it and feeling
Yeah.
positive. Like, is there a chance to do season 2?
I hope so, knock on wood. Yes, very much so, very much so, I hope so. I hope people get a chance to watch it and that there's a desire for that.
Yeah.
No.
That's the hope for everything, isn't it? Yeah.
Like, "Please, ask for more of us. I beg of you."
Keep me employed. I don't want a real job.
No, I mean, and like, I love working, I love being an actor, and every time I, like, do anything that's not acting, I go, "I don't wanna do that.
No.
I don't wanna do that. I could, but I don't wanna."
Especially after you've got a taste of it and you really like, like once you become, I don't think you become a professional at anything until you've done it like for quite a while, like
Yeah.
maybe at least 5 or 10 years.
Yeah.
And then you can be like, yeah, I'm a professional, whatever, right? And I think it's the same thing for acting. It's not like you don't become a, I don't know, you learn while you're doing it, like with everything.
Yeah.
And I really think like that professionalism on set, that professionalism working with other actors and stuff like that comes with a certain gravitas and experience, and you don't get it on day one.
No, now, again, like, these kids on It's Not Like That, I was like, "Okay, well, you are consummate professionals, and I'd like to know."
How good is their parents? How good are their
I
parents?
was like, "Wow, okay." So, like, yeah, so, like, we're just gonna put them in a special category.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I did not feel like a professional actor exactly until exactly what you just described, because I was like, there's sometimes I think you're, like, hitting your mark and you're like, "Oh, there's a camera over there. Oh my god, there's a boom." Like, it's just there's stuff that you don't really, like, get empowered to really, like, walk into a set and all that until you've done it a few times, and you're like, the worst that's gonna happen is someone's gonna tell you no,
Mhm.
or the choice is gonna flop.
Yeah.
But that all comes from, like, experience and, like, and being confident and comfortable and all that stuff.
And taking direction.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How hard is that?
Hurt.
Yeah.
And it's not like boss feedback or like a coach who's like giving me like, I ran long distance for like a hot second until I was like, cross country's not for me.
We've all been there.
Like, I never want to do this again.
Yeah.
People do this for real.
Yeah. I was 12. It looked like fun.
But actually, yeah, and I wanted the t-shirt.
Yeah.
So I did it, but never again. But like I've played sports off and on because my family is athletic. And I remember like being like, these are very code. These are things I can action, like I can do. Sometimes with direction, I'm like, yes, okay. Give me 1 second to sort of process what you're asking.
Mhm.
Because it's just very, it's like some of the things are so what is in that person's eye in that moment, and they've got a top-down version, and I'm just looking at the other actor, and I'm thinking, we are clicking, we're cooking here. And they're like,
Director's getting nothing.
yeah. And that happens. And like there's so many times with the actor, the other actor and myself are like, yeah, that was great. That your director's like, yeah, that's fine. But what if you don't do that? Which is, it's its own sort of pivot and learning to be that agile that takes like also that it shouldn't be an ego hit because sometimes it's not that it's wrong. It's just that it's not for this moment.
Mhm.
And so that's again the sort of like lessons that come from like being able to do this a long time.
Yeah, and the director's thinking way beyond your performance. The director's thinking about the tone and the pacing of the entire film.
Yes.
Yeah,
Big
or show.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so again, it's not like the depersonalization part is like, please get to that point. You will feel so much better once you've been depersonalized because it's not a fun ride when you're really feeling like it's you and people hate you. And you just sit in that. At least a lot of us do.
I had that a lot, but I was producing, directing, and hosting my own show, so I couldn't really go anywhere.
Yeah, you had you had a lot of hats on. Like at some point you're like, I'm gonna take it to the I am the boss everywhere.
We had to do that though, because no one wanted to work with me. So if it wasn't me, it wasn't going to happen.
Yes, but I'm sure they did. And now they're banging on the door.
Somehow. Something I like to ask all actors that I have the chance to chat with here on the podcast. Where are you now with, we've been through COVID and now the majority of the auditions that are taking place are self-tape. So a lot of times you're not even getting to Zoom with another actual living human being. You're having to get a script, not even the whole script, maybe just a scene, not really knowing the full extent of your character or the full arc of your character in a film or a television show. And then you've got a paragraph or two and you've got to make choices and tape yourself and then send it off into the ether and wait. And so I've talked with a lot of actors about this, and some of them love it because they get to choose and they get to do it on their own time and when they want, blah, blah, blah. And then other actors hate it because they don't get notes, they don't get to change their performance, they don't get to use the tools
Right, right.
and make the adjustments that they've learned how to do over their years. So I'm just curious if you've got an opinion on that.
Oh, I have a strong one.
I knew you did somewhere in the.
Somewhere in there, it came clear. I noticed that again, one of the best things that Southeast actors taught me was how to self-tape.
Yeah.
Just incredibly proficient at it, and like the volume, because most of Atlanta was self-tapes prior to COVID.
Oh, really?
It was rare to go in the room, and I hate going in the room.
Oh, really?
I
That.
hate it.
Oh,
I absolutely hate it.
is it the pressure? or Just the.
Because you go in and it's like 5 minutes.
How dare you judge me? Oh, wait, that's your job.
That's your job. And also, even when it's like something giant and wonderful and it's love of a lifetime and they're rooting for you and people really love you, I like control. And I love that the tape this is what I brought. This is kind of what you're going to get on set. Obviously, a lot more amplified because there's a lot more going on. But like, I can wardrobe it. I can give you a whole vision for like what I'm seeing here and like the actor, like, am I the actor that you want to work with? Not just like my take on the character, but like, is this the actor you want to work with? And that's what I feel like I can do at a self-tape. I never loved the in-room experience a whole lot. When people talk about like redirects and notes and all that, I never experienced, I mean, that's a lie. I've had some incredible career-changing moments with directors and producer sessions and stuff like that. When you're like further along, when you're going in to read for like, I'm not gonna say we're number 3. I'm gonna say EMT, because I used that one example.
Yeah.
When you like, they're more like, okay, oh, let's do it again, and like you might get a sentence of direction or something like that. It never really felt like that was what was making or breaking my audition experience. I understand the feeling of like sending tapes into the void because trust me, you're like, is anyone watching this? Am I taping for myself? That of course, I get it. Like that's a feeling I feel like every person has. But I also felt that way when I was auditioning, when I was like running to Santa Monica and the appointment was at 5 o'clock and I couldn't get parking and I was like gonna cry and they're like, come in and be thrilling and funny. And I'm like, I'm gonna get a parking ticket and I can't afford it. Like it was it was its own thing. I feel like the acting thing is like its own gauntlet and self-tapes because like I read with people via Zoom. So like there's some sort of human interaction for me in the process.
That's great.
Um there is an expense, the setup, some readers you have to pay for, all that sort of stuff, or if you get coaching. So there is some stuff I understand like the actor sort of is like, "Rawr." But for me personally, I have booked most of the entirety of my career from self-tapes.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah.
It's never I am a big, passionate supporter of the tape. You have so much control, and in an industry where, like, I think it feels like, at least to me, you have 20% of the control. You get to take back a little bit and audition the way you want. Because I've been in rooms where they're like, "No, you can't sit. No, the chair is a no." And that's kind of okay, but you should be sitting. And I get it. It's because like, the camera's up there, and they don't wanna have to, like, adjust it because they're reading, again, like, a bajillion of you for this minor part. But, like, if it's your tape, you could do whatever you want.
Did you ever watch Entourage back in the day? Do you ever, I loved it because every time Johnny Drama would walk into a waiting room for an audition, there would be like 20 other Johnny Dramas
Yes.
that didn't get his role for Entourage, and they recalled them back to put them in this room, and he would walk. I could not imagine walking into a room of a bunch of other 6'2", brown hair, middle-aged man role, like, and have to sit there with all of them and then wait for my number to be called.
It is the most surreal experience I've ever had in my life.
I can believe it. That's crazy.
Like, your mother tells you, "You're so unique, you're so special."
No,
You're not. You're not. You're absolutely not.
I'm lied.
Your mother lied to you. And, like, my parents will be like, "We love you. You're just, like, amazing and blah, blah, and, like, you can do nothing wrong." Guess what? There's about 40 of you, and they may be better at this. And it's like, it's such a surreal experience. And that's why, again, like, the depersonalization and the sort of like, well, they wanted flavor B of Marissa Chanel Hampton today. Fine. Fine. Like, she was skinnier, she was funnier, she was grittier, like, whatever. But yeah,
She actually had a drug problem.
yeah, I don't. Like, sorry, I'm a little fluffy glitter sticker more than like street gray. But like, I just,
Even the way you said street cred.
Yeah,
Ugh,
like,
that was a real Farley moment.
like, like not like there's just not gonna be that moment. So like, fine, and then we can disappear into stuff and all that for sure. I love it. I love a period piece. Let me get dark on you, but like, it is a weird experience, and I just like I think people think that like you're going to have this like deep connection with someone in the audition room, and I have had friends on that other side who are auditioning me. And it's like perfunctory business.
Yeah.
And we get it done, and then blah, blah, blah. And then we chat.
And then there's some dude in the back corner on his phone.
Yes, don't get me wrong. I've had a wonderful experience where one time I don't think anyone looked at me the entire time I did the whole thing.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, which is, fine. But like, I trust like the casting directors who call me in and who've given me so many opportunities. And I'm so grateful for them because like they've given me the opportunity to tape for stuff that like I'm like, okay, I would love to play in this universe.
Mhm.
And I feel like there's
Enough trust.
thank you, enough trust that they're like, she's gonna turn in a tape that is like gonna be like very Marissa. Her choices are her choices. And we love seeing her for this stuff. Like, great. So I just like I don't necessarily need the in room to have that connection. At least that's not what I have felt.
Yeah. You're getting the feedback from in other ways, and it seems like you're really thriving off the control element. Yeah.
I love control.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's one thing that like especially if you were like that gold star sticker student, you want that person who writes in your report card,
Yeah.
excellent, exceeds all. He's so good. And so like you're really seeking that in the audition room. And I'm like, I don't know that this business is one of constant validation.
No.
I would,
There's a lot of loneliness.
yeah, I would look elsewhere. Like you have to find validation in like, wow, did I do the work? Do I feel good about my choices? Like you've got to figure that part out because like otherwise, this becomes a really rocky road.
If you come in needy, you're fucked.
Yeah, and like a lot of sometimes like just like you cannot be this gaping wound. Like you can't because like one, I feel like they can smell it. I feel like they can see it. It's like that date you go on and the person is just like clearly like really wanting this. You're like, relax.
Like when Zeter's almost out there.
We're two human beings. Like, they want you to win. Like, I've never been in any sort of adversarial casting experience. Like, they want you to solve that puzzle piece. They want you to be the person who walks in and they're like, oh my God, that's them.
Yeah.
Like, they want that. So, like, when you're like, I need this job so bad, it's almost like it distorts the lens. Yeah, like if you like see static, to me, that's what it like does. Is it like it hides them from seeing you? So I'm always like, everybody relax. And don't get me wrong, I'm saying this like I'm cool cucumber all the time. And the reality is that that's not the case. Like there are definitely times when like you really, like I said, the heartbreak is heartbreaking when you really want something and you're close and everyone's telling you in your ear, like you got it, blah, blah. You don't. Yeah.
Do you trick yourself into somehow distancing yourself from something you really love or really want to play?
Yes, 110%. Yeah, like this is weird. It all becomes like weird ritual. Like the sides get like recycled. They scum me like you don't keep them. Like I don't like try to like look at like anything. I just like it's got to be like we're done. Once it's submitted, like we're done.
That's for mental health.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like because you'll obsess. Like don't get me wrong. I've been those times where I've like gone back and looked at the email. So when does it shoot? Is it possible that they could call me tomorrow, even though they start shooting today?
Last week.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, because there's so much where you're like, sometimes you just like hear nothing. And you're like, I thought I knocked it out of the park. Like, it's just like, it becomes like a game of like, something comes and there's something else. And you just have to keep moving.
I would find the silence deafening.
Yeah, but I think like, yeah, but it's like, I look at the people, like when you apply for a job now, like the auto like rejection letters and stuff like that. I would love that for acting. Like, I would love someone to be like, we didn't pick you. Thank you so much. But on the flip side,
Follow us on Instagram.
it's shocking. I've gotten something like that one time. You can update it on our project. And I was like, don't do that again. I would love that, but then there's something to that silence of it's just sort of like, let it go. People in the ether. Just let it go. Let it go. So there's a part where it's like, it's a very weird business to like when people are like, it's like, I'm like, no, it's not. It's very serious, but it's also Very weird.
It's so weird, and nothing in life prepares you for it, and no person's path is similar to anyone else's.
No, and I love there used to be, like, some acting coaches and advice out there. People would be like, "Pick an actor, follow their path, and, like, try to emulate it." And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, like, that's not exactly I mean, like, sure, you can say, like, "I wanna work on stuff similar to blah, blah, blah," but you're not all gonna have the same you're just not. You're not gonna have the same experience.
Yeah. My father's Kurt Russell.
Well,
My uncle's Quentin Tarantino.
well,
Yeah.
well. It is, it's I think that is his
My father's Johnny Depp.
yeah. And people are always so funny when they're like, "It doesn't make a difference." I'm like, "Babe, it makes a little bit of a difference."
Yeah. I like, so I love Ethan Hawke, one of my favorite actors, and still he's just getting better with age. But he has a daughter. I think her name's Hannah or
Maya.
Maya. That's it. And she came out the other day, and I loved her. I haven't seen anything with her in it, but I saw some social media clip where she's just like, I embrace, this being the daughter of my famous actor father. Like she's like, I embrace the nepotism because like without it, I would have had to fight. And she would just laid it out, and she's like, being Ethan Hawke's daughter is fucking awesome.
Yeah. I enjoy her so much.
Yeah.
Very much so because of that. And she's good. Like it's not like I always think it's funny when people are like, it's so insulting when you say I'm like, not really. I mean, we can just acknowledge it and move on. And some people are great. Who is it? Jack Quaid is the same way. He's like, yeah, that's true. He's also great.
Yeah.
Like, and I enjoy him too.
Yeah.
So
And his father's still awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. That's wild. So, I mean, where are you going with all this? I mean, are we going to be doing this when we're both 80? Like talking about your roles? I mean, hmm,
You know, I do actually, yeah.
yeah,
I hope that like
I'll be doing this at 80.
you will be.
I'll be senile, but I'll probably be still doing it.
Like I may be sort of like doddering and the points won't connect.
Yeah.
I mean, they might have meandered here too. But
I've got a few business ideas. I'm going to be opening up some child care facilities in Minnesota.
okay.
And that's how I'm going to fund the podcast.
Okay.
So I've got a plan to get to 80.
There's many ways. You could also run for president. You could do whatever you want.
I'm Canadian.
I mean, I may not matter.
They'll switch it for us.
The rules do not matter. All things are up in the air.
Spoken like a true political science student.
I'm telling you, things can change.
That constitution can be changed.
God. But yeah, if I get to spend my entire life telling stories, I would be eternally grateful. Like there's nothing about that would be a disappointment to me. Like if I'm 80 years old and people are still knocking on my door being like, "Can you come be on our set?" Like that's not a bad existence. It's also like an honor that people still want to work with you.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like Helen Mirren, she can't even read anymore. Like her eyesight is so bad, and she gets someone to recite her lines to her so she can memorize them and learn them, and then figure out how to act around them. But she's someone who's just she's backed away from a few things. Obviously, like she's no longer in the Bond movies. That's Helen Mirren, right?
No.
Who's playing?
I can see her face and her name is not sticking. I was like, I do not know about her. I can see her face right now and her name is not sticking out in my brain and it's going to come to me in the middle of the night.
Oh, it's not Helen Mirren. You're right. It's someone else.
But I know exactly who you're speaking out.
Fuck, I feel terrible for making that mistake.
Well,
And the fact that both of us can't figure it out.
well, it's Dame, is it Dame Judi Dench?
Judi Dench, is it?
There we go.
Oh, so she's the one who can't see.
Okay, yes.
There we go. So, and she had to back away from some acting, but she still gets people to recite. And she's like 80 something. She's still crushing it.
Yeah. And that's where I'm like,
I can't believe I miss Judi Dench. I made that mistake. That's terrible. Sorry.
apology is out there. Because both of those women I very much so admire. So yes. But yeah, I think the only thing that I would want to change is at some point I would like to direct something.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, but that's it. That's it.
Control freak.
Yeah. Is it surprising?
You direct the fuck out of that.
Yeah. And people would probably be like, go sit down.
Right?
You should probably go sit in Video Village
Right
now.
That'd be awesome. That'd be wild. That'd be cool. Like, I mean, would you want to take some existing IP or try to create something on your own?
I have no idea. I don't have the answer right now. Again, that's got to be like a little further down the road. But yeah.
I love chatting with that about the creative people. It's just because sometimes you get so caught up in doing other people's stuff and you have so much inside that's not coming out. It's like, I got to get this out somehow.
Yeah.
And then somehow you can put together, enough money to do a little indie
Yeah, yeah, and I would love to be able to cast my friends. Like, I have so many talented friends, so I'm like, "You deserve a shot." And, industry takes its own time on recognizing cool people, so,
That's true.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, we'll get there at some stage. We're we'll be there at 80, I guess.
I know. Also, I'm not so sure that I wanna live until I'm 80 years old, so maybe we scale back a little bit.
80 is going to be the new 50.
You're correct. We might be here a while. I don't
Yeah.
know, maybe I don't wanna be doing until 100.
I would love to have my current physical and mental capabilities
Okay.
today
Yes.
for like another 50 years. I think that'd be
That's
kind of
fine.
great.
That's fine.
That'd be kind of
Yes.
cool. But to lose the mobility and lose the mental agility
Mhm.
and lose all these other things and then just kind of carry on forever,
Yeah.
that would be tough for me.
That would be tough for me too. I've always been someone who, like, works out and it's, like, fitnessy sorta, and I injured my hip and I, like, had issues walking, and I was like, "Oh, wait.
That's an old person injury. Are you doing okay over there?
Listen, don't the box jumps, the powerlifting,
I
we
didn't.
can
Yeah.
relax. We can all relax. We can all relax, and I am down to 1 half marathon a year."
Okay. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
about it. But it was, like, so shocking. I was like, "Oh, I can't get up to walk."
Yeah.
And it, like, totally so, yeah, I'm not so interested in seeing that sort of degrade.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was it was like a flash into the future. I went, "Oh, no!"
This is terrible.
Yeah, for me, at least. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. And actors have so much empathy too. Like, you feel all these characters or you feel people you see in society all the time. And just to not have that movement and that capability and then to see other people around you kind of aging and things like that, that's hard.
Yeah, I mean,
Mm.
I cry. I'm always like, "What?
And
What?"
you spent the whole year crying.
Yeah. Yeah. God, just please let me, like, if I'm gonna cry, I'm gonna do it in a horror film next or a thriller.
Are your parents still supportive?
Yeah, actually, I think it gets much easier to support your child being an artist when, like, you start to watch TV shows and their names are in the credits, or you go to the movie theater and the name is in the credit, or when their friends are like, "Oh, we saw her on blah, blah, blah." It's very easy. No, my parents are very supportive. They've always invested in me from the jump, but I do think it becomes a lot easier
Yeah.
when you see that it's not like pipe dream.
When they stop sending you money every month to buy food. Yeah.
Or when they're not, like, slipping. My parents were more the people who were like, "Are you sure you're"
There's a lot. I'm over your way doing
like,
that.
"I'm fine." Yeah, so it's been, I think, really exciting for them now because they get to sort of just be, like, glad to go along on the ride,
Mhm.
and it's not as, like, breathless, like, "We want our child to be happy." Now it's just like, "This is great. She's doing what she loves." So, yeah.
Yeah. And you're actually doing it. It's not like
Yes.
you're trying to get through or whatever. It's like you're actually a working
Yeah.
professional.
Yeah, I mean, like, when you, like, talk to your parents, like, when you explain your job, I'm always like, "This is unconventional." It's weird. I know, like, when you go to a party and you're, like, explaining, like, "I'm a podcaster."
I don't think anyone asks me that because they're afraid I'm gonna ask them to come on my podcast.
Oh,
That's a big thing in LA because no one because there's too many podcasters.
sure. That's true.
Yeah.
I love podcasts. I know we have a lot, but I love podcasts.
Yeah. And I really like the fact that there's still people out there who only do face-to-face stuff and
Yes.
who don't do Zooms and really like because for me, like spending 2 hours with you,
Mhm.
not looking at the phone,
Yes.
totally disconnected from everything else that's out there, distraction, and to have like an honest to God human experience with another person without having any digital distraction,
Yeah.
it makes my whole day.
No, I agree, and I think that human connection is so important, not just because of AI, but also just in a, like, increasingly sort of tense society. I think that it's important that we, like, dialogue where we can, so that's, like, important to me, and I presume, excuse me,
Mm.
that, like, we don't agree on everything, obviously, or that our walk is not the same walk, but, like, for 2 hours, we've gotten to chat, and, like, how often do you get the opportunity to slow down? Like you said, there's no digital sort of distraction, that, like, life is probably knocking on my door, I'm not sure, again, because my phone is who knows where, but, like, we've gotten to be present, and I think that that's such a privilege that it's really nice to do.
I think it's one of the best ways now to get like some kind of like endorphin
Yeah.
rise out of your system because like how crazy is that? Like 20 years ago we were like, you would drink and
Yes.
do drugs to get a high and now it's like I just want to talk to some.
Somebody. It's true, though, because, like, you think about it, and I was like, "How often do I, like, converse with someone,
No.
like, really get to stop and not have, like, like, am I scrolling TikTok while I'm talking?" Like, it's shocking how little we actually converse.
Yeah.
It's wild to me.
Even going out for meals, like I go down the street, you know, a few blocks, and you're in Beverly Hills, and it's like, oh, let's have lunch, and you're on, and someone who invited you for lunch is on their phone
Yes.
half the fucking time, and it's just like, why not just call me? Like,
Yeah. We did not have to go spend this money. Yeah. No. Yeah. It's very.
it's the opposite of podcasting.
Yes. Yes, I agree. But also, like, someone pointed this out to me recently that there's a sort of like a decrease in every sort of like bit of life where there's communication, self checkout, or like you do delivery service for food. Like, we're not like conversing with each other, even for those little minute moments. Like, we are not talking to each other.
Yeah.
So it's nice to be forced to sit here and be like, hello, I'm talking to you. And specifically you.
I'll send a nice gift to your PR guys.
I'm sure they would love it.
There you go.
Getting good. I really love you. Yeah.
Beautiful. So look, is there anything we haven't talked about on this podcast that you wanted to kind of put out into the world?
No. Be a little kinder, be curious, and keep moving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And now, do you have like a website or social media where people can find you?
Sure. I go by my full name everywhere, and it's Marissa Chanel Hampton on Instagram. If you want to see me blather about books every so often, it's Ink and Paper Soul
Okay.
on Instagram as well. I also have a website at inkandpapersoul.com where I talk about books. And yeah, I'm always like lurking places. That sounds frightening.
That does, but you're up for a horror movie or a slasher or something, so that's coming down the pipeline.
Okay, so let me just like set the energy out there. But no, very friendly. Come find me.
Yeah.
No, don't come find me. It's getting worse. That's all I have to say.
It's getting worse.
Yeah.
No, but honestly, I know you're only in town for a few days. You made time for me. I really appreciate it. And I wish you the best of luck on your journey. And it sounds like things are going absolutely amazing.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you for having me. I did appreciate you welcoming me as a first guest of the new year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wish you all the best for 2026.
Thank you. You too.
All right. You have a good one.
Thank you.
All right. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye. Fade to black. And we're done.